I make them bitches hit the floor for keys. Yeah.
Travis Gotti here, and I'm back with some more boxing. Felix Trinidad is out here running around, talking shit about one of his fellow country mates, and I don't really know what he have against Miguel Cotto. I don't know their relationship with each other. I don't know if they cool or not, but he shouldn't be in the media praising the other guy and discrediting his guy, because it's not only Cotto versus Canelo, it's Puerto Rico versus Mexico. You know, you're Puerto Rican, Felix Trinidad. Why are you running around here discrediting Miguel? Okay, let's get into it. Let's get right into it. You know, so I can go over this fuckery that Felix Trinidad is talking about, and then I'm gonna jump on him too, because if he want to talk shit, we can talk some shit. Okay, Felix Trinidad, he praised Canelo's opponents. You know, gave him all of the credit in the world for the guys that he was fighting. He discredited Cotto's opponents, saying that Martinez didn't have no legs. And then what was the other guy? Daniel Gill was weight drained. It was another guy in between. He made some shit up about him. And, you know, just shitting all over Cotto. And he was like, you know, at a lower weight, it might work out for Cotto. But at this weight, I don't think that it's going to work out because, you know, Cotto is still even small for a junior middleweight, let alone a middleweight. Now, you know, me saying something is one thing, right? But when somebody from your hood is saying something, it's completely different. You know, these guys are both from the same country. You know, Hispanics stick together. You know, black people don't stick together. You know, I carry a weapon every time I leave the house because, you know, black people, they look at other black people as a target for some reason. I can't stand it. This is life. That's how it is. But, you know, they always looking for people to jack. They see a black person. I guess they feel like the black guy isn't going to call a police, but this black guy is going to fucking kill you, you know, if you try to pull something. But Hispanic people, they stick together. I don't really understand this. And Trinidad is out here saying all of this shit. And now let's look at Felix Trinidad. Since he want to talk some shit, we can talk some shit. We can talk some major shit on this motherfucker. But first of all, before I say all of this stuff, Felix Trinidad was one of my favorite fighters. He still is one of my favorite fighters of all time, if not my favorite, but outside of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is my favorite fighter of all time. Besides him, non-heavyweight, it would be Felix Trinidad. He was amazing coming up through these weight classes, and he was knocking all of these motherfuckers out in like brutal fashion. He busted motherfuckers' face up. I seen him punch dude so fucking hard. He done swole the whole side of the dude's face. I mean, he was a fucking beast, and he never was really a muscular guy. You know what I'm saying? He was like bony kind of. That's what made me like look up what the definition of power was. And you know, it has something to do with the legs. As far as power in boxing, your leg strength, your bone density, you know, a lot of those different factors come in when you talking about power, which is why Bradley looks so muscular, but he's still a light puncher. But Felix Trinidad, he was a celebrated champion, you know, unified titles. He beat De La Hoya in what they called, I think, the fight of the century at that time, something like that. But he fought Bernard Hopkins in 2001, right? And he was undefeated going into that fight. I picked Trinidad to win that fight. Didn't nobody even know about B-Hop until that point. And he got outclassed. He got dominated. It was embarrassing. I couldn't believe what I was watching. And Bernard Hopkins closed the show and knocked him the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? KO. Last round. He closed the show. And after losing that fight, the first fight of his career, he decided that he wanted to quit boxing after only losing one fight. So he decided to have a farewell fight. And then he quit. He retired. And then he came back 2 years later. He fought Mayorga, Winky Wright, and he beat Mayorga, but then he got embarrassed again against Winky Wright, and then he quit again, disgracing his whole fucking legacy. You know, if you're going to fight, fight. And if you're not going to fight, don't fight. But I don't understand. I've never seen somebody so sore about losing that they quit boxing after one loss. I could not believe it. When he was talking about retiring after that loss, I was in disbelief. Not only don't quit, it's not only about you. You got a lot of fans that supporting you, that believe in you, that want to see you come back. That's not what a true champion does. True champion don't take a loss and quit. He quit. Shit, that was worse than Victor Ortiz quitting, because Victor Ortiz quit in a fight, but then he came back and fought again. He ended up quitting again, but he had his jaw broke. It's kind of understandable, but he didn't quit fighting as a whole. So Trinidad came back, fought Mayorga, beat him. Winky Wright lost, embarrassed, completely outclassed, quit again. Then he came back for another payday 3 years later, way over his natural weight, because he was most dominant at welterweight, 147. And he had never fought at light heavyweight before. They came up with a catch weight of 170. The highest that he had ever weighed was 160, and that was towards the end of his career when he had came back, against Winky Wright. That was the highest that he had ever weighed. He came in at 170 and got dominated. You can't pull this shit on us again. Even the commentators was talking. Yeah, he quit, he retired, and then he came back. And but after this one, I don't see how he's gonna be able to sell any fights. He's not gonna be able to sell it. So he came back and got dominated big time by Roy Jones Jr., the old Roy Jones Jr. So I mean, the guy pretty much disgraced his whole legacy. He's a Hall of Fame fighter. Don't get me wrong. He accomplished a lot in the sport of boxing. He accomplished a lot. I give him that. But, you can't take a loss. You ready to quit. You don't want to fight no more. It's kind of like you and you kids and you playing, like, say if we playing a basketball game, right, and you beat me in a game of 21. Like, I'm never fighting you. I'm never playing you again. I don't want to play you no more. And you don't play, that's a sore loser. And you don't play with him again in 21. That's what Trinidad did, man. He quit and then he came back. Then he got beat up again. And then he quit again. This guy quit 3 fucking times, man. After B-Hop beat him, he quit. After Winky Wright beat him, he quit. And then after Roy Jones Jr. beat him, he quit for good. You need no position. And he might be a little jealous of Cotto, because Cotto is more accomplished than him. As far as Cotto is the first Puerto Rican 4-weight champion, and they make a big deal out of that in the media. So, Trinidad might be a little jealous of Cotto. Cotto is running through these weight classes. Cotto has been in bigger fights. The biggest fight that Trinidad has ever been in was against Oscar De La Hoya. They sold 1.4 million pay-per-views, but I don't even know if Trinidad has been in any other pay-per-view fights. To be honest, I don't think so. Cotto has been in a number of pay-per-view fights. His fight with Mayweather had sold 1.5 million pay-per-views alone at a higher price. So that alone kills him in the pay-per-view department. And he sold 1.25 million pay-per-views against Pacquiao. He had a number of Margarito Part 2 was on pay-per-view. Sergio Martinez was on pay-per-view. He might have had a couple other pay-per-view fights. Every time he fight in New York, which is his second home away from Puerto Rico, he sell it out. He might be a little jealous of Miguel Cotto, and I was kind of, I don't know. I didn't want to see no shit like that from Felix Trinidad, talking shit about his fellow countrymate when it's Puerto Rico versus Mexico, and you should be supporting your countrymate. I'm Travis Gotti. Thank you for tuning in to Travis Gotti Boxing. Subscribe.
Look at the flick of their wrist. 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 I gotta quit fucking with you.